And we are live. Before we get started, waiting on Cole to get back, seeing as this is his suggestion, if at any point you were to decide you like what we do, and I'll say this a couple of times throughout the live stream, you can always donate financially with that QR code that's on the screen. I'm sure me and Cole would both appreciate being able to buy an extra beer or two. He agrees. All right, I'll let Cole take over this part.
All right, so tonight I've selected Gogol Bordello, an American punk band from Lower East Manhattan. They've been around since about '99. Sound is largely inspired by Romani and Ukrainian music, but also punk, dub, few other influences. You can expect accordion, violin, saxophone, uh, guitar, drums. We are all over the place here. Everything. Um, and has appeared in several popular films. Everything is illuminated, which I'm unfamiliar with myself. Lead singer Eugene Hutz co-starred with Elijah Wood in a story about Nazi purges in Ukraine. Hey, it seems strangely relevant to what's going on today.
Funny how that happens.
History is cyclical, folks. So right before we went live, Start Wearing Purple was not only my introduction to Gogol Bordello, but also prominent to that film's score. Gogol Bordello non-stop. Huh. Okay. I was, I guess, either unaware or had forgotten that they had their own documentary. Oh, hey, 6 full albums. Like I said, I've not checked in a while. Anyway, I think we should probably get into the music. Oh, there we go. Made numerous appearances at international festivals and have toured with such diverse bands as Primus, Flogging Molly, and Cake. If that's not a wild array of musicians to you can expect to hear all of them. Also, hey, there's the Bonnaroo. They've been to Bonnaroo several times, actually. This is one that I didn't see because Bonnaroo 2011, that was the year my son was born, and we didn't make that one for, some obvious reasons. Um,
Music festival, birth of your child. Music festival, birth of your child.
right. So, however, I had seen them twice at Bonnaroo prior to that. So, one of those years, uh, members of Gogol Bordello played in the Super Jam with Les Claypool and I believe Brain, um, and Kirk Hammett.
Insert standard wah pedal joke here. I can't think of one,
Uh,
but
right. But the fun part about Kirk Hammett and Les Claypool being on stage together is that they went to high school together.
we talked about this a couple weeks ago because we also mentioned that Slash and Lenny Kravitz went to high school together.
Went to school together. Yep. Uh, Also of note in that particular Super Jam, they were like 2 hours late going on stage because Gogol Bordello's flight from Chicago to Nashville got delayed. And the other guys refused to go on stage without Gogol Bordello.
Well, I mean, Chicago. There was probably a drive-by on the runway.
Oh man. Last time I was in O'Hare. The last time I was in O'Hare, I swear to you, I spent more time on the tarmac than I did on the next flight. I literally thought the pilot was going to drive us to our destination.
Well, it's Chicago. There's probably a drive-by on the runway. It's like if you were to go to Detroit and try and fly out of Detroit, the plane's on blocks.
Philly?
Honestly, Philly's airport is really not that bad. I kind of like Philly's
Been to
airport.
Newark?
I've been to Newark Airport. I've been to Newark Airport. Yeah. I went from the terminal I got off at to the terminal I was departing from, and didn't really do much of anything else there. Probably for the best.
DIA.
Right.
DIA. Me and my ex-wife were flying from Denver to Nashville to visit her family.
Okay.
And I spent probably a good 2.5, 3 hours just driving around the airport trying to find parking. They charged
Uber
me.
to an park there.
Yeah, dude.
Who was going to drive us?
Uber!
Uber wasn't a thing, and we were broke.
Being broke. Something that I
You can't
feel.
pay for parking. But if you can't pay for a lift, you can't pay for parking. I mean, it's cheaper to get an Uber or a Lyft to the airport or even just a regular taxi.
Not
Actually,
not from Greeley to Denver. We're talking 2.5 hours.
yeah, he's got a point there.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're
it's
dealing
not
with
close.
me.
And I was carrying a firearm at the time.
You can't take that on the
Dumbass.
plane either.
Yes, you can. You put it in your checked baggage.
And you can't
Okay,
take
fine.
it on the plane on your person. And
No.
back.
Be in the. Okay.
I was flying to Tennessee. I was carrying a gun. I was flying to Nashville. I was carrying a gun.
What are you scared
No.
of in Nashville?
No, not once in Nashville have I felt the need to.
From Denver.
Philly don't scare me, so Nashville definitely don't scare me.
Yeah, dude, I walk around Philly with. Maybe I like to live dangerously. I walk around Philly wearing a Green Bay hoodie.
But have you been to Denver?
Yeah, and I almost wound up in the Colorado River with our tent.
Fun. Depending on the time of year, you might not have come out.
Given that I was 9, I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah, I didn't learn how to swim until later. No. In the winter, it's terribly cold. In the summer, it's still very cold, but kind of refreshing. I've pulled a dad and bathed in the pooter. Let's get into some music.
Let's get into some music.
So, Start Wearing Purple pops up first.
Start wearing purple, wearing purple. start wearing purple for me now. All your sanity and wits, they will all vanish, I promise. It's just a matter of time. So yeah. Start wearing purple, wearing purple. Start wearing purple for me now. All your sanity and wits, they will all vanish, I promise. It's just a matter of time. I know you since you were at 20. I was 20 and thought that some years from now, a purple little lady will be perfect for dirty old and useless clown. So yeah, start wearing purple, wearing purple. Start wearing purple for me now. All your sanity and wits, they will all vanish, I promise. It's just a matter of time. I know it all from Diogenes to the Foucault, from Ложечкин to Паспорту. И я клянусь, обоссав 2 пальца, что ты, что музыка пошла от звука в мух. Start wearing purple, wearing purple. Na-na-na-na. Start wearing purple for me now. All your sanity and wits, they will all vanish, I promise. It's just a matter of time. So yeah, start wearing purple, wearing purple. Start wearing purple for me now. So why don't you start wearing purple? Why don't you start wearing purple? Start wearing purple for me All your vanity and wisdom will all vanish, I promise. It's just a matter of time. So Violetta. Дама ты моя. Опа, подадайте нам карету, вот эту, и мы поедем к ебеням. So yeah, I start wearing purple, wearing purple. Start wearing purple for me now. All your vanity and wits, they will all vanish, I promise. It's just a matter of time.
Oh, like I said, lots of Eastern European influences.
I see that.
Hey, Super Toronto. That's actually, I think that's their first album still. Yeah. And
There's
they've got some moves in Quebec.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna
kinda
say
fun.
they're still touring. Quebec, California.
We've heard one song.
I've heard many songs.
Oh, you already know Gogol Bordello.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I didn't know she already knew Gogol Bordello.
Chinchillas already know them.
But the chinchillas know some Ukrainians.
No, I do.
Which is why I'm not entirely surprised that she already knows about Gogol Bordello. Oh.
Go on. For me.
Oh. I was unaware of that. I don't know why I was unaware of that.
Because Ryan doesn't come around enough.
Yeah, but it seems like, if somebody had suggested like wear purple, start wearing purple over the
Ryan will do that. Because that people don't want to notice the blown take over the deep.
Okay, well,
So, not that anybody asked, but tonight's bourbon is Maker's Mark.
I don't.
Unfortunately, the girls at my liquor store kind of let me down with the Suntory Hibiki, but or Toki. I'm gonna have to order it off the internet.
we're all over the place, because Cinco de Mayo, we're doing a Romanian Ukrainian gypsy punk band, while you're drinking bourbon and we have Irish whiskey.
Jameson.
No,
No.
actually, you gravitate towards Bushmills more.
Huh. I've heard good things.
I mean, I like Jameson. Ellie's my favorite.
I'm thinking with the next paycheck, I'm gonna get myself a bottle of Glenfiddich. Kind of feel like drinking scotch.
Good one. Good one.
It's also a $60 bottle, which is my monthly bourbon budget. Although
One, 3 JDs.
that's not far off.
I mean, we're in PA, and PA controls all the liquor. So
right.
we have slightly high prices.
Unlike other states, liquor sales are controlled by the state in Pennsylvania.
Huh. I need
Can't
to.
buy beer at those gas stations.
Unlike in, say, Tennessee, where I beer at the gas station as long as it's not Sunday and before noon.
I had somebody come in the other night trying to buy beer just after 11. We're not allowed to sell after 11. It was like 11:01 according to the register.
Oh, and so the register wouldn't let you do it because
I don't know.
Is it?
I honestly don't know. I've not tried. But the company's based out of Nebraska. So it's actually a different time in Nebraska right now than it is in Colorado.
Yeah.
Because mountain time.
You guys are Mountain Central.
Yep. It's weird. Pretty much just Colorado has its own time zone. It's fucking weird.
Arizona has its own time zone.
They're not the only ones. There's another state, and I cannot remember which one it is off the top of my head, does not do daylight savings time.
Reportedly parts of Indiana, according to...
We just need to stop all that fucking...
I agree with that. The whole reason for daylight savings time was farmers, and it's to quote I think it's Daniel Tosh. There's like two of those left, so
We farm just fine on whatever time we're in.
The plants don't care what the clock says.
yeah.
Hopefully, we'll have 9 different types of apple,
Yeah, that would be wild.
2 plums, peaches, and
Nectarine.
nectarines. Plus all our normal veggies and 10 tons of squash.
Oh,
I don't need no damn daylight saving time to do all that.
where I'm renting has a actual garden built into the backyard, and the only thing that's growing right now is cars. Um,
Well, I could tell you some things that might grow out of cars for you good.
I've been wanting to. One of them's like a '86 Fiero, and there's a Jeep DJ5 back there. It's an old male Jeep, so it's right hand drive with the slide back doors. And I think I want to say there's a '50s pickup back there. I don't pay attention because they're not mine.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. How rusted is it?
Not. It's got some patina on it, but it's not actually rusted. But it does not run.
Does it have an original engine?
That's why it does not run.
But the engine is original in it.
To the
There's
best,
no.
to the best of my knowledge, yes. Again, not mine.
Can we buy it and tow it over here?
No title.
That shit.
There's no title for it.
Okay, so that kind of could make it easier in some ways.
Could.
As long
And
as you can get off of it, we can track down a title.
again, not mine, so I'm not entirely sure. But I wouldn't be opposed to these cars being moved. That way I could put a cherry tree in that spot. I've got a thing for cherry blossoms.
I mean, Mr. Levitt would have loved us planting all these fruit trees in our yard. Our neighbors might hate us if it.
By the way, the 9 types of apples she mentioned, it's off 2 trees.
Grafted.
Okay.
Apples don't self-pollinate. You need multiple apple trees to produce apples.
Yes.
But you can graft branches from one tree onto another. And because they are genetically different apples, that tree now will self-pollinate and produce 2 different kinds of apples.
Or more.
So multiple grafts will allow to produce multiple kinds of apples.
Huh. Interesting.
We found 2 grafted apple trees, one of which is in need of rescue, and so we're uncertain if that one will actually be successful, but the other one does show some promise.
It has fruit.
And the same is going on with the nectarine and plums. So, off of 4 trees, we could have 9 different types of apples, 2 variety of plums, nectarines, and peaches.
Huh.
Our property is like 1/8 of an acre. It's tiny.
I live in town, so I mean I could throw a rock and put it through the neighbor's window pretty easily.
If I throw any direction I throw a rock, I could put it through a neighbor's window, except for behind us because we got some, little league fields. We got at least 5 targets.
Luckily, there's a stand of trees between us and the ball fields, and so it's highly unlikely that anything will come through our windows.
Oh, kids these days, they'll find a way. Trust me.
Hey, you know what? Having the ball fields back there gives me faith that there are still some good kids out there.
If any kid manages to hit a foul ball through one of our windows, I'm going to take it down there and demand their autograph.
But they went the value of our home when we bought it because there were ball fields behind it. We're like, isn't it a plus to have parks right behind your house and recreational space? Yeah.
To be fair, I'm in a town so small I could throw a rock and hit the end of town. But upside, I get to walk to work and the grocery store and the liquor store.
I can't quite walk to work, but I could hop a bus there if I really needed to. We could walk to a grocery store and a liquor store and a dollar store and a Home Depot and a haircuttery and just about anything else we need.
Yeah, actually, we could. Unfortunately, the grocery store happens to be Walmart, but the other 2 grocery stores are not that far out of the way.
You could take a bus there
Well,
in short amount of time, 10-minute bus ride.
Holyoke is only about a square mile. So
It's like
I can literally walk from one end of town to the other. It takes me like 15, 20 minutes.
Yep.
And it's great. It really is. Not so much when it's windy, which I'm on the plane, so it's fucking windy all the time. But
Oh, it's windy everywhere right now. We've never had winds like this before in this area.
Okay. You've never experienced
I don't
wind.
want to experience fear of the wind. I'll dig myself my own damn frickin' storm shelter.
you've traveled around with mom and dad. When granted you were little, but you traveled around with mom and dad, so you've seen a fair amount of the country.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've experienced wind.
Yeah. That's also how I almost wound up in the river in Denver.
Yeah, I mean, coming off the mountain, it's fun.
We were halfway up the mountain.
Oh, that seems.
That would not be Denver then. That'd be closer to Boulder. At least that's kind of the way it lies now.
Right, I don't remember quite exactly where we were, but let me tell you. We were in Colorado. He had just been in Denver, earlier that day. It was windy as shit, starting to rain, and I'm trying to set up the tent. I'm inside the tent while mom's throwing things in at me, and
Right.
the damn thing is about to lift off the ground and carry me into the river. So
We got to get you guys out here at some point.
yeah, no, I mean I want to travel. There's too many places that I want and need to go. My 25th high school reunion is sometime this year.
I don't plan on going to any of my high school reunions. I've got nothing to say to anyone I was in high school with.
Wait, did I say 25?
Yes.
20th. Sorry. 20th. Let me not make myself older than I am.
Hey, you want to jump into another song?
Yeah, no, we've been BSing for quite some time, so I think that's
It's
probably
been half an hour and we've played one song. And it'll give me a chance to clean up the
Yeah.
trash can I just kicked over under my desk.
Back in the day, oh, as we learned, a man was not considered to be Has he not gone beyond the hills? Has he not crossed the 7 seas? Now all them jokers kept around just like a scarecrows in hometown. From screen to screen, them traveling. But I'm a wanderlust king. I stay on the run. Let me out. Let me be gone. In the world, beat up Rosian. I saw you. History of a time. New history of through Siberian woods, breaking up their neck. Chinese moving in, building discotheques. Trans-Siberian sex toys and whatnot. Yeah, why not? Oh well, at least it's something different from what they got in every other airport. Я не еврей, но кое-что похоже. Соврать не даст ни Юра, ни Сережа. Simply because I'm not a total gajo. Да я шут, я циркач, ну так что же? I travel the world looking for understanding of the times that we live in. Hunting and gathering first-hand information, challenging definitions of sin. I travel the world looking for lovers of the ultimate beauty, but never selling. I am a wanderlust king. I stay on the run. Let me out. Let me be gone. In the world, beat up road Zion. I so new. History of a time. New history of and presidents and billionaires and generals. They'll never know what I have owned, what I have owned. I am a wanderlust king.
I swear that topic was not picked because of that song. We come from a family that kind of has a bit of wanderlust as well. Speaking of which, Mom said, "Come visit your mother."
There's a lot of places that I both want and need to go.
Well, And too, Mom, since she's watching, you could all just come to Colorado.
There's a lot of places that I both want and need to go.
Well, I mean, we've got a group chat that's basically mine and Cole's cousins and siblings, and it's as much as a family as we can actually get. Um, Granted, there's a lot of people that just kind of sit back and watch. It ends up being me, Lisa, Richard, and you, and occasionally Dakota that actually speaks in there. But
It'd be nice to get everyone together.
it would.
Well, quite honestly, we've been together for how many years now?
A bunch.
And how many family members have I met?
Grandma and Grandpa
Not nearly a bunch.
Your mother.
and Mom.
Yeah, Mom's been out here
Yeah, she had to come
once.
at one point.
But that was
Cedric was an infant.
yeah.
I do remember that. Okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah, like
with the cousins, I haven't seen them since. Yeah, Mom replied me. Um,
oh, we got pictures of Cedric with his great great grandma and grandpa.
Yeah, but the one with Grandpa Lagner didn't turn out.
It doesn't matter. We still have a picture of it.
Okay.
It's a memory.
Okay.
He met his great great grandparents. But like, no, he's never met any of his aunts and uncles on that side.
which we're all kind of scattered now. I mean, I don't know
He has
where.
a freaking uncle that's younger than him by several years.
I don't know where Blaze is because he skipped out on that group chat. I don't know where all the cousins are. I couldn't tell you where all my siblings are at this point. I know Dakota's in Tucson still, or at least I think he is. Granted,
Bone Crystal's there too.
and so is Cheyenne, because last I heard, Cheyenne was going to U of A.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and like there's a handful of cousins in Connecticut, New York.
Yeah.
Or,
They're the ones I'm a little upset about.
or
Like, I'd love to take a trip to Connecticut. I'd like to relive
No.
my own history in Connecticut too.
and/or Maine.
I want to move to Maine.
I think somebody will end up in Maine at some point.
You know me. The farther
Um,
north I can go, here I'd be.
Get a hold of Lisa, because I think Lisa's still in Connecticut.
Mhm.
Lance might be as well.
I believe so.
Oh. She graduated a year and a half ago, so Cheyenne would have already graduated from the U of A.
I do vaguely recall that.
Yeah.
In case you can't tell, we don't necessarily have a family that talks very often.
At this point, I extended isn't much better. I mean,
I do vaguely recall a great many things.
when's the last time my brother talked to me?
Fair.
And he lives with my parents like
We
5
were
miles away.
we were there on Easter.
I don't think he directly talked to me at all, though.
Well, I mean,
I
up
got
until
It's fictional.
up until we started the group chat back in December or so, somewhere around there. I mean, even me and Cole hadn't spoken in years for no reason other than we're just bad at communicating.
Yeah, that's
This summer we need a road trip halfway across the country. We gotta do the
What?
Pittsburgh into Tennessee, and
Why are we gonna stop at half-assing?
because I don't have enough vacation time.
Let's start in Belmar and just drive all the way until we hit the Pacific.
I mean,
Then all the way back to Neptune to go to work.
me and Cole have family the entire
Oh.
way to the Pacific, so
Of such, and it might be, a little bit before, but it.
This one's up for promotion right now. He interviewed last week, and we're like fingers crossed, waiting that he gets salaried management.
Yeah, well, I mean, it still seems as though everybody's wages behind me. So,
We need
mom
it.
mom said Cole has never seen Jack. To be fair, I haven't seen
Yeah.
Jack since he was little, since he was born, really.
Like,
That was funny. Me and Ashley called Mom and said, "Mom, guess what? We're pregnant." Mom went, "Huh, that's funny. Guess what? So am I."
Oh,
it's,
no.
it's funny. I walked in the door from work, and the first thing I hear is, "Hey, call your mom." Not a "Hi, honey, how's your day?" Not a leftovers are in the fridge waiting for you. Nothing like that. It was just, "Hey, call your mom." And I said, "Who's pregnant?" And the response came, "Call your mom." And I said, "Okay, well."
So first you said who's dead, and I said no one.
Oh, okay.
And then you said who's pregnant. And I said, call your mother.
And I said, "Well, it's not us. And you're not telling me that this one are dead. So the rest of them are too young. Who's pregnant?" "Call your mother." Ring, 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 ring. "Hi, Cole." "Hi, Mom. I'm told I need to call you." "Yep, I'm pregnant." This is not how this phone call is supposed to go. You were not supposed to call my wife. Tell my wife that you are pregnant. My wife is supposed to call you, so my wife can tell you that she is pregnant. I'm pregnant.
If I'm not mistaken, it was me, Mom, and cousin Lisa, all pregnant at the same time.
I
don't think you were pregnant.
I think Ashley was pregnant.
The point still stands.
With Mom, Ashley, and Lisa. I guess me and Carrie were pregnant at the same time. Because Bobby was born a couple months before Ever.
Yeah.
Which is another side of the family that just really doesn't communicate. When was the last time you heard from Grandpa?
We talked to Grandpa 2 months ago.
Yeah, not terribly long ago.
Okay. You should send me his phone number because I don't think I have it anymore. I haven't spoken to Grandpa since I left Tennessee.
Oh wow.
11 years ago.
You have my contact info?
I might. I know I have you on Facebook.
I'll message you the phone number there. I know I have the right one.
Copy that. Should we jump into the next song?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
So somehow Music Monday has been more about how fucked off our family is sometimes.
Hey, sometimes you just need to, talk about all of it.
Yeah. So, not a crime.
Drop the charges! talking about? In the old times, it was not a crime. It's all nonsensical.
I don't know what's up with it right now.
In the old times, it was not a crime. In the old times, it was not a crime. Drop the charges. Reality. Spices, creation, realization, naturalization. What are you talking about? It's all about time. Press rewind, you know today. It was not a crime. In the old time, it was not a crime. Not a crime. Not a crime. Not a crime. Where the story Сидел на болтал, работать не хотел. Сидел на болтал, работать не хотел. Not a crime. It's not a crime. It's legal, perfectly natural.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with that video. It wasn't wanting to play properly. And my internet's
that
fine.
was
Um,
pretty choppy.
yeah.
So the scene in there with Eugene out on the bass drum, crowd surfing, is reminiscent of my first Gogol Bordello show at Bonnaroo, where the girl who was playing said drum lost it, like it dismounted while she was performing, like mid-song. Rather than trying to reattach it, she grabbed it and threw it out into the crowd and continued to dance while on stage. And Eugene sees this and mid-lyric, finishes the lyric he's in and dives out into the crowd himself. Directs the crowd, push him towards the drum. Now bear in mind, this is Bonnaroo, Middle Tennessee, middle of June. And as I believe this was my first year at Bonnaroo, it was 104, 105 that year.
Oh, fun.
In the height of the day. And it hadn't rained in probably 2 weeks or more. So There's a mushroom fountain in the middle of Centeroo, Honoroo Festival grounds. It clogged. It choked because it was black with dust from people trying to wash the dust off of themselves because of how dry and yeah, just so
No.
3,000 people crammed into a tent. Mind that Bonnaroo regularly gets 80 to 100,000 person crowds, so can't expect all of them to be in one place at once. But I forget the tent we were under. I can't say which or what or where or this, that, or the other because those are all stage and tent names. I think we were under this tent, but we might have been under that tent. The other tent is on the other side of the Bonnaroo grounds. Which and what stages are the main stages? So we we were under this or that, and you know we'll figure it out later. Um, but you've got 2, 3, maybe 4,000 people under the tent. Crowds flooding out around the tent proper. And there's this marching drum floating across the crowd when Eugene throws himself out into the crowd and directs the crowd to push him towards the drum, right? So eventually, and the band had to have extended the song just to make this happen, right? Eventually Eugene gets to the drum and he gets on top of it. And it's time for the next verse. So he's on the drum, sings the next verse, finishes it up, and goes wild. He directs the crowd to push him on top of the drum back towards the stage, and he, still with the microphone in hand, starts beating on the drum in rhythm with the. It was the wildest, like the most rock star shit I've seen at a show from a band that I've never known. Right, instant fan, just fantastic. You guys know how to party. This is
So, going back to the previous topic, then I've got one for you. Mom says Lisa and Kate were pregnant at the same time. Aunt Shara, and her were in a competition to be grandma first. Mom won.
that's right. I forgot about that.
So, I work for another.
Celebrating a month early.
I I work for another musician. I do all of his videography, photography. I run his social media and everything. And at some point, I'll have to get him out here, and he'll join us on this. He's just not tech savvy at all. So trying to get him into a Discord call would be pulling teeth.
Well,
But he's on stage at one of the bars in Fort Collins. Pops a string. He had two musicians with him that night. Brett, who joined us on one of the Music Discovery episodes that we did,
right.
and Evan, both of them being New Jersey boys. They're actually from your neck of the woods.
Nope.
But
Lazy.
yeah, I make fun of him every time he says coffee.
Yep.
That's a New York thing.
That's an upward Jersey.
That's a New York Upper Jersey thing.
There's North Jersey boys.
Well, Evan, if you happen to watch this after the fact, yeah, I'm still making fun of you, even though you're not here.
I have a question.
Okay.
Taylor ham or pork roll?
Say that
The
again.
New Jerseyans will set.
Taylor ham or pork roll.
I
Okay.
expect the New Jersey to set this ablaze.
I'm sure because I'm going to tell him that you've got a question for him after this, and he'll end up watching it back, and I'm sure I'll get a response. I won't remember next week because I kind of drink a lot. But
Then you gotta get back on here with us before then.
I've usually got Discord open. So if I'm home, I'll respond. But they're up on stage. Rich breaks a string, and Evan and Brett keep the crowd going while Rich changes said string, and then proceeds to jump into the crowd. Rich went to go dance with all the college girls in the crowd while Evan and Brett kept the show going.
See, anytime I've broken a string while performing, I will continue out, finish, whatever piece I'm playing. Improv if necessary.
I've popped strings playing. I usually finish out the song as well, and then say, "Well, guess who doesn't have a backup set of strings? Excuse me while I run to the closest place to get strings, and we'll keep this going."
Guess who's glad to be a pro player and never had to worry about that shit.
Right. So luckily, every time I've broken a string, I've either, been close enough to the end of my set that I can just, bullshit my way out. Or I can borrow a guitar.
I'm usually busking, so I've got to look around for a friend that I can trust to keep an eye on my equipment.
Right. You might want to look into keeping pairs of the strings you most commonly break.
That would require having money, which I do not have. We've discussed this.
Yeah, but like the music stores around you sell singles?
The closest one did not. It was actually a record store that just happened to have guitar strings.
Huh.
Now it's not an issue. If I'm
Are
playing,
you-
say, Ozza and bust a string, I just swap to another guitar.
All right, well,
I've got
that makes sense.
4 guitars in the room with me, 2 electric, 2 acoustic. If I want to get really funky, I just swap to the bass or mandolin, which has a plug-in. I don't know how to tune or play it, but I'm working on that.
There's a YouTube tutorial for that, I'm sure.
It's all bar chords.
So the issue with the mandolin is the frets are so fucking tiny.
Looks like a violin.
No, because I have and could play a violin. The mandolin, the widest frets are still only the size of my index finger. And they only get
all bar chords.
smaller.
I guess when I played violin, I was on a quarter size. So
Yeah, but when you played violin, what were you?
I gave up strings early. I don't like else.
Probably had itty bitty finger.
I still have itty bitty fingers. It's pretty because I don't play string instruments.
I I get funny looks at work because I have nails on one hand, which you can't see in the video. But because I swap back and forth between picking and
But I get
finger style. So I've got my nails trimmed short on my left hand and trimmed longer on my
your
right
hand.
Yeah.
Because that's your flamenco,
Oh, I don't do flamenco.
Yep.
I do finger style, not flamenco.
Oh, it's fun.
I am not that good, and I don't want to disservice any flamenco players by trying.
Okay, I understand that one too.
So, next song up, it'll be the last YouTube video, American Wedding. Do you know this one, Cole? By name,
Not
no.
offhand, but it's also been a number of years since I've actually listened to Gogol Bordello, so might play it and you're like, oh yeah, this one.
Not by name, but possibly. So it'll be our last YouTube video, then we'll swap over to Pandora. We've been going for an hour, and we have barely played 4 songs. The joys of... But this will at least be interesting, because... This will at least be interesting, because people can go, hey, my family's kind of fucked up, too, because that's what we've talked about the most.
We barely scraped it.
Have you ever been to American Wedding? Where's the vodka? Where's marinated herring? Where's the musicians that got the taste? Where's the supply that's gonna last 3 days? Where's the band that like fanfare? Gonna keep it going 24 hours. Instead it's 1 in the morning and DJ's patching up the chords. Everybody's full of cake, staring at the floor. Proper couples start to mumble that it's time to go. People gotta get up early and they gotta go. People gotta get up early and she's got a boyfriend. And this whole fucking thing is one huge disappointment. And nothing gets these bitches going, not even Gypsy Kings. Nobody talks about my super theory of super everything. So be Donald Trump or be an anarchist. Make sure that your wedding doesn't end up like this. I understand the cultures of a different kind, but here word celebration just doesn't come to mind.
All right, I was wrong. I did know that one.
I kind of figured that would happen. So, I have a question. Have you noticed that he kind of looks like a Jeff Ramsey?
Oh,
You know who Jeff Ramsey is, yeah?
not entirely.
Rooster Teeth.
Oh,
I
interesting.
I can't remember who he plays, but I know he is in Red versus Blue. If I'm not mistaken, he plays like it's either Tucker or Griff. He plays Griff. He looks like Griff from Red versus Blue. I watched some of Rooster Teeth's live action videos as well, and there is a resemblance there.
But does he does have a point. Have you ever been to an American wedding? Where is the vodka? Where's the pickled herring?
um,
Whiskey.
to be fair, my wedding was kind of a shotgun wedding, so I mean, I didn't have much of a choice on that one.
Did you have vodka or whiskey?
No, I didn't drink at the time. I didn't drink until after I got divorced.
Oh, that'll do it.
So I swapped the shared screen to the Pandora.
Where are you on a dive in, Kate?
I'm gonna let you two go nuts on this one since
I mean, you're apparently much more familiar than I expected.
because you don't keep up with my musical taste.
In 16
Yeah.
years of never once heard you play Gogol Bordello. I swear to you, in 16 years, I have never once heard you play Gogol Bordello.
You've also known me all my life, and you've never actually heard me play Tool. So
Well, okay, fine.
there are a couple songs that I play, but I don't play them very often. Although, while busking in Fort Collins, I had a rather obnoxious church crier who decided he was going to set up right next to me while I'm playing. So of course I had to play sober. Just to try and get him to go the fuck away so I could make Taco Bell money. Um Surprisingly, he did not leave while I was playing sober. It was cocaine blues that got him to leave.
Oh, yeah.
The things that happen when you're busking. It's wow.
Just dealing with the general public.
Well, I busked for 5 years or so. Jack likes the chinchilla, by the way.
Well, there's 5 of them. This is the oldest girl.
In 5 years of busking, I actually have very few stories of things going terribly wrong. I did have one person in 5 years steal my tip jar. I'm not upset that this tweaker stole my tip jar. I'm upset that she made me run. She decided to run directly into a couple friends of mine who managed to stop her long enough for me to catch up, and Fort Collins police did nothing. They gave a homeless drug addict a ticket. Make sure
How's
you
that
come to
working out?
court. Yeah. Which that video is up on my TikTok. Because I happen to have the camera running at the time.
Crap. See what?
So, where are we going on this one?
So you've done a number of things off of Underdog and Super Toronto. Let's progress forward a little bit.
Okay.
I have a touchscreen computer, but you're not touching my brother's screen, Kate. Hello.
Where are we going? Say when.
You were trying to touch lifers?
Yep.
Okay.
This one here?
Yes.
It is a single, one song. Evidently, it's a remix.
What it was.
Oh, okay. Oh.
If the rope bends and the sky darkens, dragging your senses apart. Turn on night vision of righteous life, it's been with you from the start. Lifers, wanna with you. If the fire die away, just light it anew. Nobody told us there won't be dark days like this. Overuse your silver spoons. Now every day, yes, every day, wake up and push dark cloud away. We push it, out of the way. Now where are we to get the power to endure the darkest hour? We sip it, out of thin air, sip it. We sip it out of thin air, sip it. We sip it out of thin air. If a young child has one in a family, what's that dent in your chest? He may not get a full-on war story, but iceberg underneath, he will say. Chunk of a yes, every day. Wake up and push dark cloud away. We push it out of the way. Where are we to get the power to endure the darkest hour? We sip it out of thin air. Sip it out of thin air. We sip it out of thin air. All hard times bring up people that are strong. Stronger people bring the greater times along. Then the nicer sleazy times cradle softness of the night. Calling rise, their lifers rise again. Every day, yes, every day, wake up and push dark cloud away. Every day, yes, every day, wake up and push the dark cloud away. Every day, yes, every day, wake up and push the dark cloud away. We push it out of our way. Where are we to get the power to endure the darkest hour? We sip it out of thin air. Sip it out of thin air. Sip it, straight out of thin air. Sip it out of thin air. Sip it out of thin air. Lifers, we are never through. If the fight and die, we just live and you again. If the fog gets thick and sweet, getting right through. With no meaning of life, yes, that's what we do. Yeah, lifers.
So, Blue Unicorn is back once again. Constant viewer. Says he just learned 2 Gogol songs.
Oh, neat. Cool.
To be fair, this is one that I'm not familiar with. Cole brought this one to the table last week. Me and Cole have very different musical tastes. He's got a lot of obscure things in one direction. I've got a lot of obscure things in another direction. That's why this kind of works out the way it does.
I don't know that I've got a lot of obscure things in one direction. I've got a lot of obscure things in
Every direction.
every direction.
Except for the one that I happen to have obscure things in. I get a little more into folk. You're kind of everywhere else. I've got to figure out a way that you'd be able to see the comments. Only way of me doing that right now would be
Right. I mean,
sharing my OBS. Because actually, these are both on YouTube.
Oh.
Mom,
Yeah, that's.
Mom and Blue Unicorn both watch on YouTube.
Oh, well. I can just as easily do that. I can literally just as easily do that.
Yeah, you won't be able to see Twitch comments.
With some latency. But, yeah.
I mean, it works. I've got to figure out a way to do it through OBS or Discord if possible. Um, but the only way that would work is if you were watching my OBS through Discord, which would defeat the purpose.
Weird. Featuring Jello Biafra, Trey Cool, Joe Lally, Roger Murray, Bonnie Pittman. What in the hell is going on here?
Based on the year and I would say the album cover, this is a Ukraine war thing.
Well, absolutely, because if you haven't noticed,
He's got some heavy Ukrainian influence, if not actually being Ukrainian.
No, like Eugene Hutz is Ukrainian.
That's kind of what I figured.
But so are other members of the band, and like they all have Eastern European roots. It was a wild collection of. I wasn't looking at the thing. I saw the list of names, and I was like, "Wow, that's an amazing hodgepodge of assorted members."
So,
Biafra.
As a disclaimer from before we start this one, I'm sorry, the blue and yellow caught my eye, so we're going to play this one. But as a disclaimer, we don't talk politics on this. I'm going to call it a podcast. We don't talk politics. Any political discussion is not going to happen here because I keep an eye on the comments and I will fucking banhammer somebody quick. This is not the time for politics. However, I will also say I tend to support more Ukrainian artists than Russian. I don't know too many Russian artists.
Without attempting to discuss politics, I feel inclined to agree with that statement. So it is worth noting that most of the Russian populace is
going to agree with us on that.
Let's say misinformed or not in support of the things that are happening somewhat locally to them.
So that kind of actually, I've got a question to ask you after this particular song.
Okay.
That is not the right song. There we go. I forget how Pandora works.
That's the way imperial cookie crumbles.
Evidently, we lost Cole. Hold on a second. See if I can get him back. You still with us?
Yep, sorry. Not sure how I dropped out there.
And neither am I. Evidently, my internet has been kind of weird today, so that might have been on my end.
That was totally on my end.
Okay. I have to say that might have been my favorite one of the night. And I'm not entirely sure why, but that kind of was. We've been going for about an hour and a half. So because it's kind of your neck of the woods, being relatively close, at least closer than me. Have you heard about what's going on in Buffalo?
No, I haven't.
With the Buffalo school system?
Nope, I've managed to create a protective media bubble around myself, apparently.
So the synopsis: a Buffalo SVU detective has come out and said that the Buffalo school system is either and downplaying or just completely not reporting some rather serious offenses. If you get the opportunity to look that up, I'm not going to go into any more of it on here, but it happens to. I mean, he basically whistle blew on a podcast that I happen to enjoy. And he's also a YouTuber that I watch rather often, Angry Cops. I was just kind of curious.
Nope, I had not heard about this yet.
It is some of the videos are very hard to watch because you've got a grown ass man, and not only that, a police detective and drill sergeant. I wouldn't quite say on the verge of tears, but he's having a hard time talking about some of the heinous shit that's going on. Judging by your face, you're reading articles.
I skimmed over a little bit.
Yeah. If you get the opportunity to watch, if you look up Unsubscribe, the Unsubscribe podcast, they've got 2 videos now, as of yesterday, where they talk about what's going on. This is basically an SVU detective that is putting his career on the line to whistleblow about this. You, I'm gonna swap topic because it's not something I want to dwell on, especially not while I'm drinking, because I will dwell on it. You want to do one more? Or you want to call it a night?
Yeah, no, let's do one more. Well, I guess we'll pick a random one.
Um, His most recent album is one song, 2024. He's got two of them,
Interesting.
actually.
Titled in Spanish. You know, I wouldn't make the whole thing out to be Eugene. I'm certain that the whole band contributes here.
I'm so used to just talking about a single artist because that tends to be what we do. Even when we're talking about a band, we pick out one particular member. They. Thank you for correcting me on that. So, before we get into this, I've also got, and I'll swap it over after the song. I told you about the video that's on TikTok of someone stealing my fucking tip jar.
Right.
I've got that pulled up on TikTok, so that'll be a special treat at the end. Heads or tails, I guess.
Honestly, I am kind of curious about what's going on here in Spanish, given that everything else has been, Eastern Europe.
Tails then. I am not even going to attempt to pronounce the featured name there. Vadim
Kolpakov?
Yeah.
Vadim Kolpakov? Elena del Tiempo, featuring Vadim Kolpakov. I'm certain.
Hundido a los cabellos, ayer y mañana come oscuras flores de duelo, oscuras flores de duelo. El sueño es sobre el tiempo, flotando como un velero, flotando como un velero. Nadie puede abrirse un día el corazón del sueño. Sobre la misma columna habrá dado sueño y tiempo. Cruzar el camino del niño, la lengua rota del viejo, la lengua rota del viejo. El sueño finge muro en la llanura del tiempo. El tiempo le hace creer que nace en aquel momento, que nace en aquel momento. El sueño es sobre el tiempo, flotando como un velero, flotando como un velero.
I never asked myself what life would be like if the Mars Volta were Slavic, but now I know.
Is it sad that I lived in Arizona for about 10 years but never learned Spanish?
I guarantee you didn't learn Spanish in a Russian accent.
I think that was not I think that was Spanish, not Mexican Spanish.
I guarantee you didn't think to learn Spanish in an Eastern European accent.
No, I did not. No, I decided to learn German instead. Um,
Right, and I took Latin.
Latin was not an option for me.
I was, I was German working out for you in Colorado.
Um, Gut. Actually, we have a lot of around this time of year anyway. A lot of people from South Africa, and Afrikaans is relatively close to German.
Right, because it's an offshoot of Dutch, which
Yes,
is it's closely related to German. So,
I've had a lot of people that I've told, well, ich spreche keine Deutsch, hablo muy poquito español, et je ne parle françois.
uh, ah,
um, Blue Unicorn. I mean, you can see this if you're watching the YouTube comments. Blue Unicorn says he can sing Ein Stuhl in der Halle by. I'm entirely too drunk to pronounce this correctly. And Strusende, now Bratton, but he probably can't pronounce it right. Um, no, I actually do use German quite a bit, actually. The little bit that I know. I took 2 years in high school. So I am far from fluent, but I can generally know when I'm hearing German.
uh, right, 5 years of Latin, which you'd think after that I would be a doctor or a lawyer or a senator or something,
Well,
right?
you don't
But
use it, I'm sure, because nobody speaks Latin. So you've forgotten a lot of it. I've forgotten a lot of German. I took it in high school, which was, holy fuck, 13 years ago.
um, but I can hack my way through most
So,
Romance languages. Um,
here's off topic, speaking to the camera. I remember my big brother. Mom says German cuss words don't count. Well, that's scheisse.
ah,
I can even add modifiers. That's freaking scheisse. Um, Mom speaks German. Um, I remember being a child and my big brother giving me a Latin textbook. The only thing I can remember is Agricola. Agricola. And him making a terrible fucking joke about it.
Agricola. This soda tastes like wheat. I actually don't remember what the terrible Agricola joke I made was.
Agricola. I remember it for you.
It's Agricola, by the way, and it's farmer.
Yes. I did take French my freshman year in high school, but they made the mistake of giving me a foreign language first thing in the morning, so that was nap time. I don't remember enough French to actually get through anything. I remember 2 years of German, my sophomore and junior year. And to be fair, I don't remember much of that. And I look up to find that my brother has vanished.
Right, because I went to go grab my Latin text off the shelf. Sorry, there's a rather nice bookshelf over here.
Look how sophisticated my older brother is. He has a bookshelf. I have a DVD shelf just off camera. Somewhat.
Right. The fantastic part of it is built into my mantle. Right? So, like, bookshelf and various board games. You can see Settlers of Catan up there.
So, I don't know how much of this will be visible because I have a TV as a monitor in the way. But, DVD shelf with a few.
Oh.
None of them are mine. Actually, I can't say that. Some of them are mine. But it's things you would expect. Like, I have the first 6 seasons of The Walking Dead, all of the Final Destination movies, 2 of the John Wick movies, the first 2. Legends of the Fall, surprisingly not Last of the Mohegans, and not Tombstone, because that one is saved on my computer. And if Mama's watching, she will laugh about that because Dad watches Tombstone to the point that I have it memorized.
Also not surprised.
Hence, mind you, now my camera's all fucked off. Now, it doesn't look like it now on camera, but I get a lot of people telling me, because of the facial hair, that I look an awful lot like Val Kilmer. And I respond with, what an ugly thing to say. I abhor ugliness. Does this mean we're not friends anymore?
All right.
Why, if I thought we weren't friends, I don't think I could bear it. I haven't watched that movie in quite a while. However,
well, you should in memoriam of Val Kilmer.
yes, because he did pass away rather recently. I think that would actually end up being a stream on its own. Just because the movie Tombstone with Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell is a great movie. It really is. I've been to Tombstone. Mom and Dad live not that far from it.
We've been to Tombstone many times.
Yes.
We've been to Tombstone more times than I can count.
Yes. However, the movie, what actually happened, are, according to the people in Tombstone, vastly different. Mom says, we went to Johnny Ringo's grave. So, I live a couple hours drive from Doc Holliday's grave. Granted,
Yeah, I was
that's,
gonna say, I recall a particular graveyard somewhere near Boulder that we were.
that sounds about right. Um, so, Doc Holliday died in Glenwood Springs, Colorado, which Mom says it's in one of Jack's videos. So I will plug little brother Jack's channel once again. Jack's Arizona Adventures is a great channel if you want to learn the history of some of the spots in Arizona. It is mine and Cole's youngest brother, and our mother and father, who do some hiking and go to some of these obscure and out of the way places in Arizona. And you get to learn about some of the history of the area and see what it's like now. It really is a great watch. I've got a habit of watching them primarily when I'm going to sleep.
Very informative. A plus. If you can't be there yourself, you will feel like you have been there.
I remember one where they were doing some caving.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Ooh, which one was it? They had to do a part 2 because they had to go back at some point. And I don't remember which one it was off the top of my head, and I'm sure Mom will chime in and tell us. Now, to Jack's happy. He likes that we plug his channel. I've got, I'll say queued up. That's not quite accurate. The video of somebody stealing my my tip jar. Generally, this is something that Cliff House. No, I don't think it was Cliff House. It might have been. It was one where you guys experienced some paranormal things. So I remember you guys having some really weird pepper sauce. It was pepper sauce. It was the pepper sauce caves.
Ah.
If you get the opportunity to watch that one, because I know Dad's the one that does the editing for it. At least I think Dad's the one that does the editing for it. And he put into some text on screen that there were some weird things that were going on. But I've got queued up the TikTok video of somebody stealing my tip jar. Because it's, well, to be honest, it's kind of funny. It really is. And again, I'm not upset at the person for stealing my tip jar. I'm upset that she made me run. I have not run in a very long time. I walk fast, I do not run.
I'll guard your stuff, man. No, don't.
So I watch your lights go out. Hey!
Yo! Here, I'll guard your stuff, man. No, don't kill her.
Oh, the guitar!
You see that shit?
So, nobody actually came to my defense. However, if you really listen, you can hear somebody saying, "Let's go look. I want to see what happens." Unicorn, you are right. That is right by Lucky Joe's. It's right in the center of Old Town Square. I chose a central spot, and it became my spot. That alley goes right by the back door of Lucky Joe's, and that's the Yeti and Rec Room right there. So, to finish out the story, what you cannot see in the video. Yes, I had a little bit of a crowd going. I also had some people at the Old Town Ale House. No. Town Pump. The Town Pump that were sitting on the back patio, who admonished me for holding her down while somebody called the cops for stealing my tip jar, because, well, she must need that money. Well, I must need that money too, to eat. I worked hard for that money. Somebody coming up and stealing my tip jar does not count as working. Blue Unicorn says, "I thought about busking there a few times, but I don't think anyone would like it or care." That particular bench has been kind of known as my spot. If you happen to go by and nobody's there, go for it. I don't think anybody actually paid attention to what I was playing at any given time. Or at least very few people did. And just having somebody playing music in the square is nice. Although I have heard, because I have friends that still hang around the area, that busking in Fort Collins is pretty much dead. Unfortunately, the homeless, like the individual that took my tip jar and didn't know what a fucking belt is, they kind of ran all the street musicians off because it's not safe, and they've run all the crowds off. I had to call the cops a number of times on people who were shouting profanities and shadow boxing the air while there were children right there. Meth is a hell of a drug. Big Brother is speechless.
Apparently, meth is a hell of a drug. I mean,
it makes
you know,
you it makes you think that running up and stealing somebody's chip jar while they are busting their ass to entertain people is acceptable.
I mean, like, it's fun to make the Chappelle Show reference. Cocaine is a hell of a drug, right?
I got these cheeseburgers.
Free crack giveaway.
Any more of that free crack?
I I think Dave Chappelle is God's gift to humanity. I really do. Blue Unicorn says, I don't even go to Fort Collins anymore. I was just doing an open mic in Loveland, but nobody cared, so I quit doing it. Quit doing that so much as well. Thinking about going back to live stream. Tuesday afternoons if you're interested. Well, sir, you and I will have issues because I happen to live stream, or I will be starting, live streaming my own stuff Tuesday afternoons because I work every other day of the week. Speaking of which, starting tomorrow, I'll be doing my own live show. And once again, Venmo code will be in the same corner. If you feel that you want to support me and Big Brother, go ahead and scan that QR code, send some Venmo money to us. It'll help us support our alcoholism. Me and Big Brother would love an extra beer or two.
Money for a good cause.
Hey, at least I'm not the guy on the corner near you, because there's always one. Unless you live in Salmonwell, Arizona, who is panhandling. My sign would be honest. Need beer money.
His kidnapped wife and dog. I really want my dog back.
I've seen that one. That's a good one. Mom says, oh geez. Mr. Unicorn, if you were to start doing it on Wednesdays, I would tune in while I'm at work. Just make sure you let me know before you start going live. Mom, at least you didn't raise a bunch of liars. I am going to say any money you tip is either going to go to equipment, like replacing this terrible microphone, or booze and cigarettes. Everything else I've already got covered.
Seeing as how it is unlikely that we will generate enough income for me to be able to pay my mortgage, yeah, it might buy me a Guinness.
Speaking of which, after the stream, I'll talk to you about that one, Cole.
Right, speaking of after the stream, it is getting rather late here on the East Coast, and I have work coming up.
So, what are we doing next week?
That is a good question, and I will have to get back to you because
I've got a list. We can do Bridge City Sinners, Hello Black, Ray Wiley Hubbard, South Texas musician. We could do some Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Jack White, Thorogood, Weird Al.
Yeah, there were a couple of people I wanted to throw on the list as well, and I can't remember who they are now. And I got rid of my paper list sitting in front of me.
I might need a bigger sticky note.
Let's table this and circle back.
Mom says Tom Kiefer of Cinderella or Cinderella.
Queensryche.
I only know one of their songs, to be honest.
I used to work for a guy who was a huge Queen Strike fan.
And he knew the same one song. It's Silent
Well,
Lucidity, by the way. I remember listening to that quite a bit in Dad's leather shop when he had it.
He there was also a running gag that he couldn't. He was a drummer and he couldn't play in 4/4.
That might be one to touch on then. Yeah, you want to do I'm holding the sticky notepad. So Blue Unicorn says Tours. So you want to do Jack White next week?
Yeah, sure. Let's do Jack White.
I love me some Jack White. So next week we'll do Jack White. It's
All right.
not one Cinderella song; it's one Queensryche song. If you remember correctly, the entire way moving from Tennessee to Arizona, we played old tapes of yours and Dad's. One of them being Cinderella's Long Cold Winter. However, the tape player in the Suburban was fucked up, so it played them slower.
November Rain lasted for 23 minutes.
No, Cinderella. There was no November Rain.
Really?
No, they didn't have a. They had one Guns N' Roses tape, but when I got the box of tapes, that particular tape was damaged. It was Lies. It was GNR Lies. We had Cinderella. We had Motley Crue. We had a tape that Dad had made that had some great songs on it. Some Bob Marley. Like I only know one Cinderella song. Come on. I know at least two. But Big Brother needs to get some sleep. He's got to work tomorrow. What is today? Monday? It's Music Monday. Of course it's Monday. Do not have to work tomorrow. But tomorrow I'll be doing my first live show. I've already got all the equipment set up and my book prepared because I've forgotten quite a few songs that I used to play every day and had them memorized. Unfortunately, there's no Cinderella on that list yet. Yet. Blue Unicorn says, I don't know any Cinderella, but I know some Twisted Sister. They're Nobody's Fool. Or Gypsy Road. Neither one of those is my favorite Cinderella song. Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone is my favorite. Big Brother needs to get some sleep. I am pretty well trashed. I've been drinking for the past 3 hours. So I should probably eat something and sober up. We will catch you next week where we dive into some Jack White. That's going to be a fun episode. It really is.
Yeah, it is.
It's also going to get fucking YouTube hammered, but I'm okay with that.
Or it's even.
We will see you
All right.
next week.